voting us Yuba Sutter's best in multiple categories, including financial advisor and wealth management firm for the past 5 years. You can find more information at shawassociatesinc.com or 530-674-1150. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
It is 8:14, and we are proud to be talking with some great people in this area. Mike Filice, Yuba River Endowment, also Crystal Martin of the Yuba River Endowment, and you brought in a special guest this morning, Craig Carberry. Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
I'm doing swell.
This is your second interview today.
Well,
Good job.
I'm feeling historic.
Oh.
I know.
I like your lead-up songs. Thanks for playing the songs about death before we talked about the cemetery.
That was the whole point. It was because there's a lot of stories that come out of the Marysville City Cemetery. Good morning, sir.
Craig Carberry with the Friends of the Preservation of Yuba County History.
You're the man. Crystal, you've got a very nice big, what is that, a check over there?
Yes, and I love these windy days on trying to keep this check in check as I move it up here. But, you know, I'm really honored to have my hat on today helping with the Yuba River Endowment, and I'm really honored that we got this guy, Mike Filice, back in the studio with us
Mike.
Today. It's been a while.
Good
Finally.
morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing swell, man, now that you're here.
So, you know, I wanted to take a second and just tell you a little bit about how the Yuba River Endowment got formed.
Well, it was formed by some farmers. It came out of controversy on the Yuba River Accord, and those farmers that signed up, those irrigation districts that support those farmers, signed up the Accord, and through the water transfer sales every once in a while. Not this year. We didn't do any because it was drought, but when we do, we take a certain percentage of that funds, we set it aside, and we give it back to our local community in Yuba County.
Well, you've done a lot already, including here at 93Q. I want to thank you for that. But it all has to do with what is the mission of giving it back? Is there like a criteria? You have to be a human?
Well, it really is about trying to better the quality of life in Yuba County for Yuba County residents. And what the things that really touch the hearts of farmers are things that have to do with ag, education, history. So that's really where they found a spot on and a big need, especially during COVID. They gave a lot back to the local 4-H and FFA groups, junior livestock auction. They did their largest donation ever to create the large animal evacuation center up at the Marysville Posse Arena.
And I hear good things about that.
Yep, it's going to have a ribbon cutting this spring. I'm so excited, and hopefully we don't have to use it. That's one of those things that you hope you build it and they don't come.
Yeah.
But it's there in case, we do have one of those fires again.
Well, they thought the same thing about the cemetery. Build it in case you have to use it. we know we will all have to be in one of those eventually, or something similar to situations
And
like that.
Their latest donation now is $1,000 to Craig's group of, you said you have about, 40 volunteers?
45 members.
Oh, my goodness.
45 members.
Yes.
And the longest title of any nonprofit, I think, in Yuba County. I dare anyone to have a longer one than this.
Friends for the Preservation of Yuba County History.
Yep.
And, of course, what are you going to be able to use that $1,000 for? Is it going to be set aside just for the cemetery?
Yes.
Okay.
We had the early rains this year, so we had a prolific growth of weeds.
Oh, boy.
The city cemetery is owned by the city of Marysville.
Yeah.
But it's an inactive cemetery, so there's no revenue stream. So it's maintained by volunteers.
And there has been, it's been a low point in history, but it's kind of at the top. There's been a lot of work done to refurbish it because it was kind of on the way out. I mean, it had been through a couple of floods and things
It
like
was
that.
ignored for quite a few years. There was a lot of vandalism.
Vandalism.
We now have a group that is taking care of that. We have a caretaker that lives there to cut down on vandalism. The main goal of our group is headstone restoration and upkeep and maintenance so the public can enjoy the cemetery, if there's such a thing.
I used to think it would be so hard to rewrite those headstones and make them, but no, it's not. I mean, you can do it with some putty, if you will. You just got to make sure they're up. There's a whole process for refurbishing those stones. I mean, they use probably certain kind of chemicals to get the algae and stuff off. I'm not quite sure.
There's a company that does it.
Yeah.
They come and pick them up, put them back together, and reinstall them. So that's what our fundraising is for, because they don't do that free of charge. Obviously.
No, they don't.
No.
And because we want to be able to have these, because it's so historic. We got some famous folks buried at the Marysville City Cemetery, don't we?
Yes, we do. Probably the one name that most people would recognize is W.T. Ellis.
Yeah.
He was responsible for building the early levees that protected the city of Marysville.
And he's got a pretty nice lake named after him, too.
He does, and a road.
And it also used to be a continuation school for high schoolers. W.T. Ellis.
Continuation school out on Brophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, W.T. Ellis went to school with someone else you might recognize, Anna McKinney, who we have a school named after in East Marysville.
And Mary Murphy Covalad, too, right?
Yes, Mary Murphy Covalad was a survivor of the Donner Party.
She's who Marysville is named after.
Yes, and her sister is buried in the cemetery.
Is
Now,
Phoebe Wright out there?
Mary is buried in the Catholic cemetery, which is on the west side of Highway 70.
Yeah.
They're separate.
That's something interesting because there's a Jewish part of the cemetery as well, isn't there?
There's Jewish, there's Japanese, Chinese, a military section, a Masonic section. In those days, people were how their religion or their groups that they were involved in separate areas. Yes,
it's neat to see the stories on the headstones, the headstones, that is, to you use your own noggin to put together dates, like you look at the Spanish flu, or you look at World War I or the Spanish American War. People are buried there.
Yeah, there's a lot of the Odd Fellows, the Masons.
Yeah,
they had symbols that they put on their headstones to recognize the group they belong to. To me, it would take a docent to know what they're talking about to do tours. Is that something that is continuing on at the Marysville City Cemetery? We have 3 tours a year.
Yeah.
One during October for Halloween, one we call Dead of Winter, and one in the spring. And we have docents that will lead groups and explain the family plots or the headstones that they stop at. We'll give the history of the people and their families who are there.
Isn't James Cash Penny there?
I'm sorry?
James Cash Penny. J.C. Penny.
You're close.
Okay.
You wouldn't recognize the name.
But it's one of the, is it Macy?
There were 2 Macy brothers.
Okay,
they opened their
Macy's.
first store in Marysville in 1850s.
Yeah.
Down near the Silver Dollar restaurant.
Yep.
There was Charles Macy and Roland Macy. Roland Macy left and went to New York, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Now, Charles is buried in the cemetery. He stayed here and kept the store in Marysville. Roland went to New York and opened one there.
Yeah.
Macy's department store.
There is some, I want to say, Wild West history there as well. We got cowboys buried there. We've got American Indians buried there. Some of the don't we have a potter's field there?
We do have a potter's field.
Yeah.
We also have someone named Charles Wells. You probably wouldn't recognize that name, but you might recognize Black Bart.
Oh yeah.
Black Bart is buried there.
Is he?
He robbed Wells Fargo stagecoaches.
Yeah, and he got caught because he had his name on a napkin that he sent off to laundry or something like that. He was always a gentleman.
Yes, he was. He never shot anybody, never injured anybody. He had a beef with Wells Fargo. They foreclosed on his land and home, so he took out his revenge by robbing stagecoaches.
I can't believe there hasn't been a movie made yet about him. But some of these things, you say we got a tour coming up in the spring, so that's right around the corner, right?
Yes, I believe it's April 19th, but don't quote me. It's in that part of April.
We will, as we get closer to it, I'll make sure the word gets out about that. Okay. And of course, let's get to know you first. Craig Carberry, tell me about yourself. What's your story? Like, what'd you do for business? What'd you do for work?
Well, I'm a walnut farmer.
Okay.
My wife and I live in East Marysville. We've been in the area since 1980.
Yeah.
We love it here. No plan on ever leaving. I got involved with the historic cemetery with my wife by going to the tours, and some of the members said, well, come along and help. Join our group. We meet once a month. We have a monthly newsletter. Mm-hmm. We raise funds for the upkeep of the cemetery, headstone restoration. We'd also give money to the Smartsville church restoration.
Is it Smartville or Smartsville?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. No, it's
Either
actually
way.
smart. They added the S and back into it. No, but that's some of the fun stuff you learn. Yeah, you say you came here in 1980. Where'd you come from?
From San Luis Obispo.
Okay. What do you tell folks in San Luis Obispo family back there about Marysville history? What comes to mind when you brag about the area?
The gold rush.
The gold rush?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you learned about it? And what do you tell them about it?
Oh my gosh, the history is fantastic. It's amazing the people that risked their lives coming from the East Coast across the Sierras to strike it rich to find gold. Mm-hmm. Very few found gold. Majority found gold selling the picks and mules to the miners.
Levi Strauss, getting them making those sales.
Yeah.
Okay, and the rich gold history, and of course the movie Paint Your Wagon. Do you like that one? The musical with Clint Eastwood.
Oh, he's a
Marysville-
great singer, right?
Oh no, not at all.
I know.
But Marysville is mentioned in there, and Yuba City's on a sign about that because it was actually filmed up near Grass Valley, Nevada City. We do have a lot of history in this area, like Mark Twain. Mark Twain he lived in Marysville.
He did. He visited the city, gave talks. Yeah.
Babe Ruth came through on a whistle stop tour. There's JFK came through when he was running for president. I think sometimes it takes an outsider to make us appreciate our own history a little bit more. And I don't want to say you're an outsider because you've been here for 42 years now, but I'm just saying the best advocate is a convert. And for you to discover the history, we like to see it in your eyes, the discovery that you have, or what you tell your friends and family. Do you when they come to town, do you take them on tours, show them around?
Unfortunately, I have not taken any of them to the historic cemetery.
Not the cemetery, but some of the other things around town, like some of the streets. You mentioned the gold rush. A lot of these streets are named after city founders who came here for the gold rush.
Yes, Charles Covalod was one of them. Mm-hmm. He was Mary Murphy's husband. We have a school named after him. We have a street named after him. Mm-hmm. Harriet Murphy Nye, which was Mary's sister, one of the Donner Party, is buried in the cemetery. I mentioned Black Bart, Macy's, W.T. Ellis.
Yeah, W.T. Ellis is the one that really got to us, and I wanted to just this guy over here, Mike Filice, is a big history buff.
Well, you talk a little bit about the gold rush, and you talk about after the gold rush. One of the things that came out of the gold rush was the use of water.
Oh, that's right.
They developed a lot of the ditches and flumes and things that brought water. Well, after the gold rush was over, most of those people were farmers. That's where they came from. So they went back to their roots, and they realized they had this water and that they could expand this valley. And W.T. Ellis was one of those, kind of passionate about it. I sat on Hallwood's irrigation board of directors, and W.T. Ellis in 1913 was our president. And he served there for 21 years. And not only did he serve as president of Hallwood, but he also served on the Central Flood Committee out of Sacramento. And he was appointed by the 3 different governors.
What does WT stand for? William Todd or something like that?
W.T. Ellis?
William, I don't know
William,
what the T
yeah.
is.
That makes more...
And it's W.T. Ellis Jr., by the way.
Okay. Makes more sense than Billy Ellis.
Yeah, but anyway, he was appointed by 3 different governors to sit on that flood control board from 1917 to about 1921.
And the man's name lives on to this day.
And
must
of
have
course,
been-
everybody knows he's the father of the levees of Marysville. I mean, that was what he was really known for. But not only the levees, he also promoted the channel of the Yuba River to get it to stay within its channel. The training walls that were
He's
put in on the
famous
north
for
and
saying,
south.
"Never turn your back on the Yuba."
Yeah, the tricky Yuba, he called it.
Tricky Yuba.
Keep your eyes on it always. So
That's right. And he was a fan of the Buckeye. You know, we were talking with the Buckeye people this last hour about the water history. But of course, you bring up a good point, the history of the water and what it did with hydraulic mining for the gold rush, and how we dealt with that. We dealt with it still to this day.
Yeah.
Because how it's affected the Yuba. Can you imagine what the Yuba would look like if there was no such thing as that hydraulic mining once upon a time? I understand they had big barges come up, big river boats. In fact, the town of Linda is named after the steamship Linda that ran aground there.
yeah, I've been told, John. I'm not quite that old, but I've been told I've been told that you actually walked down from Marysville down to where the river boats were.
That is amazing.
And now the river's higher than Marysville. So
the river is higher than Marysville?
yeah, that's what I've been told, or right at the same level.
Wow.
But it used to be you actually walked down to get into these boats that came, these barges and river boats that came and brought cargo.
Yeah,
they brought cargo here to Marysville for the gold.
And this was the kind of the jumping off point, if you will, to go up into the Sierras. This is where they got all their stock and their trade and their comestibles, if you will, their food and their picks and their Levi Strauss and of course they wanted to avoid that one place that we're talking about, the Marysville City Cemetery, because life was a little bit more rugged back then. You didn't live quite as long. But there's some, I imagine you got some old people at the cemetery, people like in their hundreds, like lived to be 100 years old. And you see that they died in like 1900 or something like that. And then you realize that they were born in 1800, and the things that person saw, the history that person saw that is buried there at that cemetery, just kind of humbles you a little bit, doesn't
Well,
it?
I wasn't familiar at all with the cemetery before Craig reached out to the group. And could you tell us where it is, Craig, for folks that aren't exactly sure?
There you go.
It's a hidden gem because you don't see it because of the levees, but it's about a mile north of Marysville on Highway 70. Just past Marysville High School, you go under the trestle of the train, a quarter of a mile from there, turn to your right, and it's...
You say it's on both sides of Highway 70 there? The cemetery?
There's a Catholic cemetery on the west side of 70, and the historic Marysville on the east side.
How many acres is the property?
Approximately 5 acres. The first recorded burial there was in 1849.
Oof.
And there's a large children's section. The disease and the hard life in the 1850s was hard on families. They lost children at 2 months, 3 months, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Life was tough.
Now, all the graves have been identified now. I know there was some that were kind of didn't know who were buried where.
No, there's a lot of undiscovered graves. A lot of places, people's graves don't have headstones. And that area floods periodically.
Yeah.
The last time it flooded was in 2017 when the Oroville spillway problem. So silt has built up over the years. So we are looking for possible graves, probing the earth, trying to find markers or headstones that have been covered over with silt over the years.
What would you tell to somebody? What would you say to somebody that is looking to get more involved, and how would they be more involved with the name here, Friends for the Preservation of Yuba County History? How do they do it?
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
Or come to the cemetery, and we have work parties down there Monday 10 to 12 and Thursday on 10 to 12. The volunteers are down there doing maintenance and upkeep.
So you're asking them to show up and bring their what my dad called their working togs, some gloves, maybe a rake.
That's possible. We have tools.
Yeah.
but we'll give you information, give you an application to join if you're interested. We're always open to donations. Work parties. We get a lot of kids from the high school getting extra credit to come on Saturdays for cleanup days.
Is it spooky down there at night?
It's not. It's a very peaceful, lovely setting. It's so quiet. We have lots of oak trees. Unfortunately, we have lots of ground squirrels, and we have a Eagle Scout who put up a kiosk with. We have all our information on that kiosk.
I see, for tours and things like that.
Yes,
Contact
and
information.
activities that will be happening. We also have a Boy Scout doing his Eagle Scout is putting up owl boxes to help control the rodents.
You know why there's a fence around it?
I do not.
Because people are dying to get in.
That's a new joke, right?
No, that is about the oldest joke on the
Uh-oh,
planet. But I never thought I'd be able to use it in context. There was this. We had Tom Walther on this last week, and he was the Wreaths Across America, where they go and they put wreaths on veterans' tombstones. Was the cemetery included in that?
We were included. We do have a military section, and we do participate in the Wreaths Across America. The VFW comes out that day, and we have speakers and a ceremony.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Crystal, what would you like to add to this?
I just want to thank our local farmers of the Yuba River Endowment for all that they've been doing. As Mike said, they have not been able to put any additional funds into the endowment now for, well over, it's almost been a year and a half now. And who knows what Mother Nature's got in store for us.
It rained last night.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Could you measure it, John?
I knew, but
We need just a skosh more than that this year.
just
I
a
think,
little
to
bit
keep
more than a
us through.
sprinkle, yeah.
But, I really hope, let's all keep our collective fingers crossed that Mother Nature gives us the ability to do some of these water transfers again this year, and we'll be able to do a lot more great things in the community.
Yeah.
Because I see in the news, it was in the news about how they're wanting to buy our water.
Oh, there's always someone who needs water, John. Yeah. In California, water's a commodity that's always someone needs somewhere.
The old saying, I've said it before, I'll say it again, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting.
Yeah, that's true. And I want to just thank his group for what they're doing, because they're preserving the history of Marysville. There's no doubt about it. Those people that are buried out there that came before us, they're the people we stand on their shoulders today. So,
you mentioned the vandalism that took place. It was about 15, maybe 20 years or so ago, that there was one person that was doing it in the secret in the middle of the night. And that's why we had the caretaker out there. But I put on this thing called the History Fair over at the Yuba Sutter Mall, and while I was talking to Donna Landerman, who was there, and I was talking with her about this very thing, about who this mysterious person was who was vandalizing, and a teenager was standing right beside me. He says, "Oh, I know who that is." And we were able to, I was actually there when the police got involved eventually. But I'm just saying that it was neat to be a part, just that connection, because, a young person thought it was important to tell on somebody this vandalism. And it was encouraging to me to see this young person be involved. Are you looking for younger people to be involved?
We're always looking for younger people.
They do the work, don't they?
The majority of our members are 70 and over, and we're limited on the amount of physical labor we can do. So, like I say, we reach out to the high school. Yeah. Camp Singer sends a crew over there when we need them.
Yeah.
It's anyone that's interested in volunteering, we will find a job for you.
And Yuba County history, there's a lot of it. And there's a lot still to be discovered.
Oh, yes. It's happening every day.
And, of course, I'm sure you would like to say thank you to the Yuba River Endowment for this $1,000, because it'll allow you to maybe have some of those headstones a little bit more shining.
Yes, we do appreciate very much their contribution. We're going to use that mainly to control weeds if there's leftover or there's anything in the future to come.
Yeah.
We will let them know what we need, and what's on our priority list is headstones and upkeep to keep the cemetery beautiful so people could come walk through and enjoy it.
I know it's hard to think enjoying the cemetery, but you can because you get to go through and look at all the stories. And my wife, when we go to places like that, she always likes to talk to them thank you for allowing us to come, because that's where these people live, if you will. I mean, no, they're not living, but it's just
It's very peaceful and
Peaceful.
relaxing. There's so much you can learn about the old families that were in the area before we were. History is there.
It's just for us to discover through the Friends for the Preservation of Yuba County History and Yuba River Endowment. Crystal Martin, Mike Filice, also Craig Carberry. By the way, congratulations. You won the thing for the golden ticket.
That credit goes to my wife. Not me.
You're a smart man. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And Crystal.
Thanks.
Thank you,
This
John.
community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 65 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted local expert for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. Thank you for voting us Yuba Sutter's best in multiple categories, including financial advisor and wealth management firm for the past 5 years. You can find more information at shawassociatesinc.com or 530-674-1150. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
The station that is designed